Hello, good evening, and welcome to class. My name is Anetia, and this is our weekly data analytics class. Today, we're looking at DAX, we're looking at DAX, and we're also looking at building the dashboard. This is the part 3 of the series we started, I think, 2 weeks ago. So, as our custom is, let me come online and then say welcome. So, if you're in class and you can hear me, please just say loud and clear. So Joseph Mary, I was unable to practice. Okay, so Joseph Mary, I can hear you. Dabere Chuku, you're welcome. Mr. Kankumo, you're welcome. If the pronunciation is wrong, you just have to forgive me. Okay, Chuku, you're welcome. And Adewale, you're welcome. Mr. Austin, you're welcome. Uche Chuku Stanley, you're welcome. Jonas, you're welcome. Victor Prefa, you're welcome. And every other person that will join the class, you're welcome to class. And if you're watching this video later on replay, if there's any parts you miss, you can always go back and continue from there. So a quick one, let's start. 2 weeks ago, we started this series, this data, a complete data analytics project series, where we took a data set and we cleaned the data set. We had a full class on 20 basic cleaning steps. If you missed that class, check the comments, the description section, and you'll see the video you can take up from there. Then last week, we learned how to create relationships, how to model data where you have different tables, how to take one table and from that table, create fact and dimension table, and then have them connected together. Doing that will optimize the data. Okay, so for today, somebody said, kindly increase your voice. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, and somebody said, kindly increase your voice. Another person said, I can hear you loud and clear. Please, if the volume is loud and clear, just say loud and clear so I can use that to know where we need improvement on. So now let's continue. So last week we did on modeling. Today we're getting to the dashboard. But before we get into the dashboard, we need to write the DAX. And I also made some corrections to the initial one. So I'm sending us the updated data so that we can all have it and then work with it. So let me share the screen and then let me bring up my screen so that we can start from there. Okay, entire screen, and my share screen mode is on. I believe we can all see the screen now, and permits me to take myself off the screen so that we can have enough space to display the work. Okay, so for those on my LinkedIn, for those following me on LinkedIn and on Facebook, you remember this dashboard. That's what this is the dashboard we placed online for everybody to look at. And then we also did something too. I also had a class with those in my community where we had a practical section on how to do this. So please, the volume, I'll keep asking that immediately you notice any change, maybe the volume is not clear, quickly type in the comment section. So this is where we're getting to today. We want to build this simple yet fantastic dashboard using Excel. And it's a continuation of the data we're working with. So let me bring up the data so we continue from there. We got up to this point. In the last class, we did create the relationship. So let me take this. I want to use this, a copy of this to work with. Okay, so let me take this. So in the previous class where we stopped on last Sunday, we cleaned the data. So this is the cleaned data. I'll send this copy to the platform so everybody will have access to it. So quickly, we clean the data up to this point. Then after cleaning, we then created dimension tables. We created dimension name, dimension department, dimension salary, dimension date, dimension age. We did for gender, we did for states, we did for marriage, promotion, and then we have the facts table. So this is where we want to start with. So I'll start with the DAX, the writing of DAX, and I'll start with the simple ones and then see how we can get to the complex ones. So let me open this one and then see this part. Okay, so I'll use this table instead because the DAX is not here. So we have the data this way, and if we go to pivots, if we open our Power Pivot and we say, let us manage it. Like I said, I'll send us this data. If you have not been following us, this is your first time, don't worry, you can continue from this point. Okay, let's confirm that we have the model. So when we click the model view, okay, so let's quickly create the models so that we can start. So if we click, this is the data I'll send to us. When I send you, please do exactly this. Click on the facts table and add this to data model. So we go to the data view. We have this first one. Good. Then we go to the second one, the gym promotion. We click on this and we go to pivot table. We say add this to data model. It is here. And we go to marriage and we say add this to data model. It's also here. After marriage, the next one is the states. And we say add this to data model. Okay. Then we get to gender. We say add it to data model. And we have the age. We say add this to data model. And we have the dates. We add this to data model. And the salary. We add this to data model. And the departments. We add this to data model. And when we come to the name, we also add this to data model. I think that should be all. Yes. Okay. So if we go to the data model, now we create the connection. Now, why I said we should download this new file, because the one we did last week, we did not consider the employee name and the employee ID and the name. So I added this one as an update. So we connect promotion to promotion ID. It should be able to create a one-to-many relationship. Then we connect marriage to marriage ID. That will also create a one-to-many. And we connect state ID to state ID. Another one-to-many relationship. Then gender to gender. A one-to-many relationship. Age ID to age ID. One-to-many. Then start date to start date. A one-to-many relationship. Salary ID to salary ID. One-to-many. Departments to departments. One-to-many. Then this one will be a many-to-one. Employee ID to employee ID. This one is a many-to-one. Okay, so that is the data model. We created this last week. I just had to do this quickly again, and then we save it. Now with this saved, we come back to our Excel and then come to the facts table, and we click here. We go to insert. When you click this drop down, you now see from data model. So when we click from data model, we say use a new worksheet. Click OK. Okay, and this brings us to this point. So this is where we'll start about DAX. Now, the first topic for today is DAX. Why we need DAX? Already, most of us, we know how to do this. Let me show something. We can come to this point. If we want to create the values now, we can come to this point and we drag employee ID to this point. It will give us 80. This method is okay. 100% okay. Let's be clear, it's okay. What we're doing is there's a level you will get to, and you discover that working with values, the values here, is not very, very okay. There's a point, especially when you want, there are some points when you start using show value as percentage, you have to, the control here is not 100%. So that's why we recommend, instead of using this, write a DAX function, write a DAX that would create the measures for you. So I will not use this one. Instead, I'll create a DAX. So how do you create DAX in Excel? In the fact table, right click on this point that says fact table and you see add measures. So what are the KPIs we want to use in our dashboard? Number one KPI, we want to is a HRO data. So we need the total number of employees. That's number one. Number two, we also love to see the average salary. Number three, we also love to see the total salary for the period. Then number four, we need the average age. Number five, we need the average years of service. And then number six, we need the filter. So let's start with the total salary, which is the total number of employees. So we say total employees. And then we come here. If we want to count the total number of employees, we can use distinct counts. So distinct counts, that's the DAX we want to use. And then we go to, when you write DAX, after calling the function, the first thing you will do is it will call the name of the table, then the name of the column. In this case, we want to count the total number of employees. What's the name of the table? Fact table. Where's the column that has information about the employees? Is employee ID. So I can simply type EMP as if I want to spell employee, and it will give me a list. So you can see fact table employee ID. I double click it and I close the brackets. Then I come to this point. The data type should be whole numbers. So it's on decimal, and I click here and I say whole number. I click OK. Okay, so you can see here it has created a measure for me, FX total employees. So it's not only in Power BI that you can create DAX. In Excel, you can also create DAX. So if I click on this now, you can see it's giving us 80 as the total number of employees. So one DAX we have quickly learned is distinct count. The second one, we want to check the total salary. So we come to here again, right click, and we say measures. Let's say total salary, that's the name, total salary. So if we're looking for the total salary, now we're looking for the sum. So we just type sum. And the table is the fact table, and what we're looking for is salary. So we start by typing, as if we want to spell salary, SAL. You see fact table salary. We double click it, we close the brackets. This time is currency. We don't need any decimal. We want the dollar symbol, and we say OK. So if we come to the table, if we drag, if we click on this, we have the total salary, 3 million plus. Okay, the next one, we want to work on the average age. So we click on this one, and the average age of employees, average age. So the third DAX we want to learn is called average. So in this case, we look for age in the fact table. So fact table age, that's it. We close the brackets. We want it to be numbers, and we want it to be one decimal place. And this will give us the average age. If we come here, we click on this, we have 31 points. This. Okay, then which other, let's see, let's check the average number of years spent by employees in the company. So let's say average years of service. So we'll use the same average, and then we'll say total years. We'll see that in total years, fact, total years. And when we close the table, we go to numbers, we say one decimal place, and we click OK. If we come here, we also have this as the total years. Okay, then we also need to learn two more. One is called calculate, one is called filter. So what can we do with calculate and filter? Now, out of the total number of employees, we need to check how many are due for promotion. So we need to create a DAX. Now, second reason why we need to create that is we need to, in this class, I'll teach us that we'll create two dashboards. One will have the information about the HRO. The second one will have information about those that are due for promotion. So let's create that. So if we come to the facts table and we'll say total promotion, or we can just call it total promotion. So we use a DAX called calculate. Calculate is mostly used when you have an expression that you need to filter from that expression. So we want to distinct count. We want to distinct count the employee ID. So in the fact table employee ID, we close the brackets and we put comma. This time we want to filter from a particular table. So filter. So from the table, we're working with the facts table, and we need a column. What's the name of the column? The name of the column where the promotion, so where the promotion ID is equals to 2. So that's what we're looking for. We close this bracket once, we close it twice. So we want the outcome to be a number and we need it to be a whole number. So we click OK. Now, when we come to this point and we click on this, you can see 19. So we have the total number of persons that are due for promotion. Okay, so very quickly, this, if you check in just few seconds, we have learned, I've given us a general introduction to DAX and how to use them. We've looked at distinct counts, we have looked at sum, we've looked at average, we've looked at calculate, we have looked at filter. You have more that you can learn, but for this class today, let's work with this number. So what do we have here? That out of the 80 persons, 19 persons are due for promotion, and the total salary for everybody is around 3.9 million. The average age of staff in the company, 31 and a half years, and then the average years of service spent is 5.8 years. Okay, I'll quickly take questions, then we proceed. Let me get to the group the platform quickly. So yeah, you can ask your questions now. You can ask your questions. So any question quickly, let's take questions before we proceed. Questions on any of the parts we have discussed so far. Any question? If no question, just say proceed and I will proceed with the discussion as it is. Any question? Any question? Okay. Let me see. It's probably okay. So if we have talked about this a lot of times, check your network, the settings. If the picture quality is not clear, it's just something with your settings. It's not a challenge. You can quickly work on that. Okay, Victor said I should proceed. I want to assume that is the same instruction from everybody in class. We had 27. Okay. Yes. So very good. Somebody made. Please let's pay attention to this. We had 27 due for promotion last week. Why 19 now? So if you check the data, that's why I said there is a correction that I upgraded the data. So that this new one is in the description section. Download this new one and then work with it. Can we do all these you are doing currently on Power BI? Yes, Power BI, you'll be doing a lot of DAX in Power BI, and that's what we're doing in Excel. Ademola said proceed, and Samuel said, how do you know which dimension goes to the row and which to the column? That's what we're getting into now. So we want to talk about pivot tables and how to create your data models. Okay, so with this, let's get back to our discussion for today. Let me bring back my screen and let's start. Let's continue. So at this point, we close Power Pivot. Power Pivot, thank you very much. Close Power Pivot, and then we'll say close. Now let's start creating our models. For this class, we'll call this one I'll call this one the KPI sheet. Let me save this file separately. So file, and then let's save it. Save it on browse. Save it. Let me call it YouTube class, so I can send the files to us later. So let's rename this sheet to KPI, and I just like to color code it. It's not a right or wrong thing. Okay, so we have our KPIs all set. Now let's start creating the different measures, the models that we'll use to create the chart and then our dashboard. So we want to start with the first one. So click on the data set, the facts table, go to insert, go to Power Pivot and say from data model. Okay, 1 minute. Let me take my picture off the screen so that we have enough space. Okay, so good. Now we're back, and pivot table, we say use a new worksheet. So we click OK. Now, when you're trying to create your model, any item that you will use for measures. Normally, you take it to your values. And then the items where you want to see description, as in other data, you take them to your rows. That is what we do. So for the person that asks, how do you know which data to take to which particular point? So that's how we pull the data, the different data. So in this case, we want to create the first one. To make it very easy, I'll pick up the points from here. That the first thing we want to work on promotion. So we want to check how many persons are due for promotion. So what we simply do, we come to the promotion table and then drag promotion status to this point. You can see now it's telling us that we can get details of promotion. So in promotion, we want to check how many persons are due and how many persons are not due. Where do we get information about those that are due and not due? Is in the facts table, in the KPI that we created, the measures that is called total employees. So if we drag total employees to values, it gives us this. So from this quickly, we can see that from the data that 19 persons are due for promotion, 61 persons are not due for promotion. So quickly, we call this one, we rename this table, we rename these sheets to promotion. These are our promotion sheets. We right click it and then we change the tab color to this. So we go to the next, want to create the next one. So the next one will be for marriage. Now, instead of creating another model, we can simply right click on this and then say move and copy. In move and copy, we want to move it to be in front of fact table. So we click on fact table and we say create a copy and we create OK. Immediately it creates another sheet for us and we rename it to marriage. So in this marriage sheet, we click here and come to the pivot analyze and come to field list. Now in field list, we remove promotion. What we need there is marriage and we drag marriage status here. Okay, so it's telling us that when it comes to marriage, 42 persons, 42 employees are married. We have single 32 and others 2. You can simply right click here and then we sort it from largest to smallest. And we color code this one to orange. We've created our second table. Now let's go to the third one. The third one will do for state. So to make it very easy, we right click on this and then we say move and copy. We want it to be in front of the facts table and we say move copy. Good. So this one, we'll call this one, rename this one to state, and we color code this to yellow. And then we click on this, the pivot table. If you click on this and the pivot table field is not showing, simply come to your pivot table analyze and click on field list. It will come up. So in this case, we don't need marital status. All we need is information about the state. So we click here and then we drag state of origin to this point. So you can see that it's telling us we have about 24 states and this is the distribution. We can quickly filter, sort this from largest to smallest. Then we don't want all this to appear on our dashboard because we have too many information. What if we say, okay, show us only the top, let's say the top 6 states. So we can click here and then go to value filters and then say top 10. When we click top 10, we can reduce the top to just 6. If you're looking for the bottom number, you can also click here and say bottom 6. For this case, we're looking for the top 6. So click here and say show us the top 6. Now, one thing you will notice, because we are still discussing, from this we can check that majority of their employees come from the East. Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi. These are mostly East states. So this is one of the things we will check when we're submitting our, one of the things we'll point out when we're submitting our reports, that if there is any special reason for this. Okay, so after state, the next one is gender. So we'll right click on this and we say move and copy. We want it to be in front of the facts table, move and copy, and then we say okay. So we rename it to gender. And we change the color from orange to light green. We click here and we take this off and we go to gender and we want to see the male and female. So we have more male, we sort it, we have more male compared to females in the company. Okay, and after gender, the next one is age. So we right click here also, and then we say make a copy, facts table, and then we say okay. So this one, we'll call this one age. and we color code it to, let's say, the dark green. And we come here, we say take off gender, and the age, we use the age range, and we put this. So we don't need to sort this because it is ordered already, 26, 28, 31. So this is the distribution of age in the company. Okay, then after age, the next one will be, after age, what we have next is the date. Okay, so we want to check employee history. So click on age, and then we want it to be in front of the facts table again. And we call this one, we name it to dates. We change the color code to this blue. And we come here and we say, okay, take the age range out, and then the dates, we just need information about the year. We want to check the number of employees for each year. So we have this, since it is a chronological data, there's an order, we don't filter it, we don't sort it, so we leave it that way. So after dates, what next? We have salary. So we click on dates and we say create a copy for us. This one now we call it, rename it to salary, and we color code it to dark blue. Okay, then we take this one out. We need the range. We did salary range, and then we bring the range here. Okay, this also ordered very low salary up to the very high salary. Okay, you can see that a lot of persons working in the company, the salary is very low. That's another observation we have seen. Okay, let's keep going. After salary, the last one is, okay, department. Okay, so salary, we right click and we say move or copy. So we call this, rename it to department. And we change the color to dark blue, and then we come to this point. This is departments, and we bring the name of the department. So the department, we can sort it from highest to lowest. Okay, so we have more persons in marketing department, and the lowest is finance. But 15 and 12, the variation is not much, so it's almost equal distribution. So what we just did now in data analytics is called building the data model. So this, we have the data models we want to use. The next thing we'll get into the visuals. So let me pause quickly, and then let me take questions before we proceed. Okay, so at this point, if you have questions, you can quickly ask. If you check the topics we have covered today, we have covered DAX, number one. Number two, just now we covered, so we covered DAX, number one. Then just now we covered model, creating the data model. So we want to get into the next one, which is the visuals. That's where, at least today, we'll start the dashboard. We'll maintain our 1 hour window and then try and see if we can start the dashboard. So let's take questions quickly. I've answered the question of how do we get dimensions. Okay, the next question, why do you add 2 to the DAX promotion column created? Okay, thank you very much for that question. Now let me get to the data that shows why we added 2. So that's why I said you need to download these other data sets. Now, when we created the models in promotion, we identified 1 as those that are not due for promotion, and 2 as those that are due for promotion. That's why we added 2. So that's why I said I updated this data compared to what we had in class the other day. I would recommend you continue from here. It's just some little updates to make it better. Okay, so I hope I've answered that question. Then somebody said, sir, please, how do you add up the employee? Okay, you count. So we're looking at the number of employees, and we add up, there are 80 persons working in the company. Okay, then the link to the data set is not in the description. I will add that immediately after the class. Okay, what are the new dimensions you introduce? Okay, the name, because when building the dashboard, there's a part they want to click and then see the names of the people that are due for promotion. So we added that particular table called name. How do we get the files? as I said, immediately after the class, the description section, I'll do it immediately after the class. What is the meaning of DAX? Data analytics, data analysis expressions. It's an improved version of functions and formulas in Excel. So for example, you have sum in Excel as a function. You also have a DAX called sum. Okay, so which Excel version are you using here? 2021. I'm using Excel 2021. Okay, just enter the class. Please, coach, what is DAX? Data analysis expression. Okay, and somebody said, after transforming data in Power Query and close and apply to bring it to Excel, say you want to add another dimension table. Can you go back to Excel, or will you go if you want to add another dimension table, simply go back to your Power Query. So you load the data, click on the data, then on your menu, you will see a query. If you click on query, the ribbon, you will see edit. You click edit, it will load your Power Query. Now, while in Power Query, you can create another dimension. After creating the dimension, close and load. Then in Excel, you go to data, there's a button called refresh. Click that button, everything will be up. Okay, Mr. Austin Benye, thank you very much. Mr. Austin, it's been a long time. I've not seen you. Welcome. Okay, and the last question before we proceed is, sir, are we to start from the cleaning to get the new 19 of those that are due? So what I said is the data where this part, it's in the description section. So just use the one in the description section. But if you want to continue with the previous data, you can still continue, but so that will be on the same page. Okay, so somebody said Excel can be downloaded. That one you can sort with any computer village around in your area. And then I think that should be all. What is dimension? Dimension, the different parts of the data that you want to visualize, more like variables. Somebody said, what is dimension? And then somebody said, when are you? Okay, that's it. Then somebody said, okay, so at this point, we can proceed. So let's get into the next part of our discussion. In this next part, we want to look at building the visuals. Now we have created all the charts. We have created all the models, sorry. Now is to create the charts. Let's start with the first one. Now, to actually visualize the number of employees that are due for promotion, for now, let's try to use a simple bar chart. In this class today, I'll use simple pivot charts. I'll not use the normal Excel charts because of time. Okay, and right-click on this button and say hide all fields. You want to quickly watch this chart. Click on this point and then remove the total. Click here, remove this, and don't need the grid lines. We don't need the grid lines. Then we'll simply add data label, or we can click here and say add data label. So we have our first chart that we want to use for today. This we can take off this title. We don't need this title. Okay, so that's our first chart. We go to marriage. Marriage, what can we use? Marriage, we can use a donut chart. So click on it, click on pivot chart, analyze, and then we'll bring in a pie chart. In pie chart, you will see a donut chart. Just click OK. Okay, let's hide all the buttons. We don't need the buttons. Okay, and then we don't need the chart title, so just remove the chart title. The data labels, we need it on the lower part, so click this small arrow and then say bottom. Okay, then we go to states. Let me save my work. We go to states. So in the states, since they are closely related, we can use a bar chart. So we use a bar chart and then we say okay. And we right-click here and we say hide all the buttons. We hide the legend. We hide the grid line. We hide the chart title. We add a data label. Then we come here and then we hide this. We want it to be from highest to lowest. So we just simply come here and we sort it in the opposite direction. Sort from lowest to highest. So we have this. Then we go to the gender. So for the gender, let's do something. We want to bring age and gender together. So let's come to age and we click here, Control A, Control C to copy this. Come here and then click Control V to paste it. And then we want to bring age and gender together. So we go to gender and then drag gender to this point. It will give us this chart. When we try to create it using a column chart, we'll have this as our charts. So we have information concerning the gender and the age. So we take away the grid lines. The legend, we take it to the bottom, and then we turn this off. Okay, so we have this as our chart. Then for the dates, we can use a line chart since it's a data that has to do with period. So we can use this line chart to represent it. So we right click and then we say hide. And we click here and we say no chart title, no legend, no grid line, and we simply remove this. We can add data labels to it. So we have this one, which is the next one. The next one is the salary. So for the salary, we can use, there are other charts, but since this is a class that we have to be fast with respect to the time, I'm seeing on how we can use just the basic charts. Remove chart title, remove grid line, remove legend, add data labels, and then take off this one. Okay, which one is remaining now? We've done this, and then we get to department. So for the departments, we can use, since the points are close, when the points are close, don't use pie chart, and when they are more than 6, don't use pie chart. So we can use the bar charts, and we can do this. So we come to this point, we remove the chart title, remove the grid lines, and then we add data labels, and we simply take this off, and then we sort this in the reverse order. Okay, you can see how fast we created all the charts that we need. Now let's start with the dashboard. So I'm getting straight to the final topic for today, which is dashboard. Any question? Let me check the group if there's any question. I hope no question. I'm getting into dashboard. So a dashboard, there are simple basic things that must be included in a dashboard, and I'll show us some of them. So this is the dashboard we want to build, and the color code that we want to use for this dashboard. I love to build dashboard with many colors, but in today's class, I just want to use one color, this main color, and then from this color, we'll generate every other color. There are certain components every dashboard must have. Let me tell us about 4 of them, 5 of them. Now, 1, a dashboard must have the heading section. The header will include the logo or brand of the company, the logo or name of the company, and the title of the dashboard is a shadow dashboard, and the period 2016 to 2021 in this case. So that's 1. 2, it will include the KPIs. For example, 8 here is a KPI, this is a KPI, this is a KPI, this is a KPI. Then number 3, it will include slicers. There's no slicer here, but I'll add slicer as we walk. Then number 4, it will include the charts. Then number 5, links to other pages. So these are the things we should take note of. Then in this dashboard, we want to build a 3-layer dashboard. 1, this is the background. Then 2, it has a template. And 3, it has a holder. That is the things that will hold, the parts that will hold the different charts. So let's start with the dashboard. In Excel, one of the easiest, fastest, and best ways to create a dashboard is to first change the color of your Excel. So in this case, we want to use a color, and the color code. To do that, I come to page layouts, and I go to colors. Now scroll down to where you have customize, and in this color, for now, what is just one color. So I come to accent 1, click the down arrow here, and go to more colors. The color code we want to use for today is #52459F. That's purple. 52459F. That's purple color, and I click OK, and I click. Let me call this one YouTube class. I'll save it as YouTube class. That's the name of the color, and I say OK. You can see that it has changed my chart, everything to that purple color. That's number 1. Number 2 is to create the dashboard sheet. Normally, it's good to create the dashboard as the first sheet in your design. So I click on this first sheet and I say insert, and I say OK to create a blank sheet, and I rename it to dashboard. That's number 2. Number 3, we need to wash our dashboard. What I mean by wash your dashboard, for most of us, your Excel is something like this, your Excel interface. So we want to hide all these things so that our Excel will look good. First, I come to this arrow. If you click this arrow and you don't have this, check somewhere around here in the Excel, you see one small button. Click it and you'll see what we're doing. So click here, and then I want it to be in full screen mode. Let me show you how your screen will likely be this way. Then when you click here and you say full screen mode, it will come out this way. So we want to lock certain part of my screen, and I click, let's say U, letter U, and I press Shift Control right arrow. It will select my Excel down to the extreme. I right click and I say hide. I've done that part. Then I come down to this part. My Excel ends with 30, let's say 30. So I just go to, let's say 34. I select 34 and I say Shift Control down arrow, and I right click and I say hide. So what happens now, it has given me a work area. You can see this other part of Excel, there's nothing. So whatever I'm designing will not spill outside the screen. That's the benefit of it. Then this thing is called grid lines. We need to turn off the grid lines. This thing is called header. We need to remove the headers. Then the headings. Then this part is called the filter, the formula bar, sorry. So we come to view, say turn off heading, turn off grid line, turn off formula bar. It will turn your Excel to a white plain screen. Good. From here, we can start designing our dashboard. So what's the first thing we want to do? We want to set the background color. So click on any point, click Control A, right click, and then come to where you have the fill color and select the third color. So we want to pick this third one because we're doing a 3-layer design. Throughout this dashboard, we'll be using only one color, purple, different shades of the color purple. So we pick this third one. We have just set our background. Next, we want to set the first template. So come to Insert, come to Shapes, click rectangle with rounded corners. So let's just draw a rectangle. So position it. I try to make the space here, here, and here to be equal. So, and we'll just shift the edge. Every shape you bring on your screen has an outline and a fill color. So we'll right click on it and we'll say the fill color should be the second level, and then the outline, we don't want any, we'll say no outline. So we have that. Good. Now next, we click on this and press Ctrl D. Ctrl D means duplicate. When I click on it and we paint it the main purple color, which is this color. Then we reduce it to something of this nature and then bring it to this point. Okay, then we increase the curve. Good. We have done that part. Then we do the other templates, Ctrl D again. So this one, the color will now be this first color. So we'll drag it this way, excuse me. So we'll drag it this way to give us something like this. And we click duplicate to have a second one. Let's check the width of this one. The width of this one is 2.43. So we'll make this one to be 2.43 also. Okay, so the width of this one is, how am I getting different? Okay. So let me do it manually. So we'll just drag it this way. And I try to make these two to be of the same. I select the two of them and I go to align and align it to the bottom. Good. Then this one, I can drag this one close to this. And I hit these two and I say align to the right. Good. So this, the idea of building this, remember, this is what we're trying to create. So we have just built the structure for our dashboard. Okay. Now let's continue. We want to start with the chart. So today, because of time, 7:44. Okay, let's see how fast we can still go. Now, while you're doing all this, please be conscious that the alignment of your chart it's correct. That you have almost equal space between the items, so that you don't have one item bigger compared to the other one. So I'm trying to balance the space between this and this. Do you get? Okay, for example, if somebody should design something like this, you have spoiled the design. So that's why we're doing all these checks. So we need three charts to be here. Let's start with the first one. Let's come to age. We pick this chart, Control C to copy it. We come to dashboard, and then we Control V to paste it. So what we simply do, reduce it to a point where it will enter. We need 3 charts. So let's reduce it again. Then click on the chart. Please don't click on the inner one. You can see there's an inner one. Click on the outer one. Right click on it. We'll say the fill, no fill. That is no color. The outline, no outline. So it's as if it's on the system. Okay, so we have this one. We don't want this orange color. So just right click on the orange and we change the color to, let's say, the level 2 or the level 3. Anyone that is okay. So we'll pick the level 2 and that's the color. Now we need to bring up the data labels. So click on this plus sign and then say add the data labels. Okay, then we click on this one and then we'll also say add data labels. Good. Now if I zoom in, you notice something. If I zoom in, you notice that the colors here, we have black. We don't want any black. We want everything to be the same color. So we can right click on this and then go to font and then change the color of the data label, change it to, let's see this color if it will be clear. Okay, 1 minute, let's look at it. Okay, it's not very bright. So let's use purple color. So click on it, go to font, and then change the color to this purple color, and then just say okay. We'll do the same thing here. Click on the legend, go to font, change the color to the purple color, and say okay. Then click on the data label, right click, go to font, change the color to the purple, but this time we'll make it bold. That will be the difference. Make it bold. You can increase it by 1 and just make it 10 and then say okay. Good. Then the second one, font, make it purple, we'll make it bold, and then we'll make it 10 and then we say okay. You can see everything. The idea is to make everything as close to purple as possible. That's the only color we want on our dashboard. We don't need any other color. So that is our chart number 1. We would put the title of the chart later. Our chart number 2, let's go to marriage. Let's pick this one. Control C, and then we come to our dashboard and we Control V, and then we save. We may not finish the dashboard today. We'll continue in next class. We have about 10 more minutes, but we'll try and do the main parts of the dashboard. Okay, so we have our chart this way. Let me zoom in so that we can see. Okay, so how do we change the colors? We have our purple here. So first we take off the background. So we say background, we say no fill, and outline, we say no outline. We don't need this white around, so click on the charts itself and then say outline, no outline. I see there's no white. Then this brown, to remove this orange color, we need to click it twice. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. So we click on this point. So click it twice and then we say, let's use this second one. Now we'll click on this one. And then we use the third one. So we have our different colors. Then we come to the legend. Remember the legend, we click the font and we change the color to the purple. Okay, we can increase the size of this donut. So you can right click it and go to format data series and we just increase the size a little. Okay, and we can also add data labels to it. So click on it and then say add data labels. What we'll do, we bring the data labels outside, just stretch it, just hold and bring it out, just hold and bring it. And bring it out. So the data labels, we'll click the data labels and change the font to purple, make it bold and make the font size 10. And then we say okay. Okay, so we can increase this to have more space. Since it's transparent, it won't be an issue. Okay, this is our second chart. Then let's bring our third chart. Our third chart, what we can do, we can bring in the line chart, which shows the employment history. So we can bring in these line charts to show the employment history. So we bring it up to this point. We have it this way. also say no fill, and then we say no outline, and it will give us this. Okay, the data labels will come, and then we say make it purple, and the sorry, that's the axis. Then for the data label, we make it this, and then we make it bold, and then we increase it to 10. Okay, so we can have it this way for the chart. So we have done these three. One thing we need to do quickly before we continue with the other ones, we can put header on top each of them. So let's go to shape again, and then we'll bring, this time we'll bring, take this particular one, the rectangle top corners rounded. So we draw it, we want this as our, so this is more like the header for each chart. So let's bring this chart a little down. So this will be the header. Let's zoom in so that we see it correctly, and we increase the curve. We increase the size, and we say the outline, no outline, no outline, and the color, we make the color same with the background. Okay, and then inside we type age, and gender. We make the color of the text to be still a pink color, make it bold, and we make it, it should be in the center. Okay, so if you minimize this now, let's see if 3 can comfortably enter here. So Control D, that's 2, and Control D, that should be around 3. Okay, let's increase the width a little. Increase the width a little. So we'll do it again. Control D, that's 2, and Control D. Still need to take it further. Okay, so we have one here. We have one here. Uh-oh. Okay, now it's too much now. Okay, that's the last one. Permit me. Control D, Control D. So, good. So how do we arrange them? Let me just keep them anyhow. So let's see how we can hold the 3 of them, and then we go to format shape. We say align all of them to the top, and then we'll say distribute them horizontally. So see what it will help us create the arrangement and align them correctly for us. So we have this one for the age. Let's adjust the chart. For the age, we have this. And for the gender, we have this. So we'll call this, sorry, this one is marital status, not gender. Marital status. And this one is for, so this one is employment history. Okay, so this is actually a fast one, and this is how far we have come today. This is 11:54. We will stop here for today. In the next class, we'll complete the dashboard. At least we have done up to this point. So what I will encourage you, for those just joining us, this is what we're building. We're building this. So we still need to do a lot of fine-tuning and editing to make it look this beautiful. But so far, this is how far we have come. So I'll stop here. We'll stop here for today. So that means in the talking about the dashboard class will be part 1 and part 2. Now, after building this dashboard, remember we said we'll build 2 dashboards so that from this dashboard, this will be the main HRO dashboard. But there's a button when you click, it will take you to the promotion dashboard. So we'll create 2 types of dashboard. Now, after creating a dashboard, I'll then show you how to use PowerPoint to present this as a report. So like I told us from the beginning, it's a complete data analytics class from beginning to the end, and it's live. So we're doing it together and we're learning together. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I will take this point to take our closing questions. I want to give room for us to ask questions. So please bring up your questions. We have just about 5 minutes before the end of the class, but I hope we've been able to cover a lot today. Somebody said, okay, so let me start answering questions. Isn't there a way the names or IDs of those, okay, the question is not complete. Isn't there a way that the names or IDs of those that due for promotion can be viewed so that HRO can make use of it? Yes, it's part of the discussion. That's why we said we'll have a second dashboard called promotion dashboard. In that dashboard, there is a link that has the names of those due for promotion, and it responds to slicer. So if you slice, let's say the names, we want to see how many of them are males, you see the slicer will also control it. We'll do that. That's our next class. Okay, the next question, Emmanuel, you need to visit. Okay. How did you get the code for the color? Okay, when it comes to colors, if you're working with the clients in their brand image, they have their colors and their color codes. They will send you the color code. Now, there is a site called Coolors, so you can check that site, Coolor. They have color codes, and then if you check Canva has a lot of has a site that can help you pick colors. For this one, the client gave us the color code that we're working with. Okay. Somebody said, please, why didn't you go straight to turn off grid lines? Why didn't you go straight to turn off grid lines and headings? Is it why didn't? Because if that's the question, we turned off grid lines and headings. Okay, please, Jonas, we need that question again. So I'm trying to bring up the questions. Okay, somebody said, please, can you drop the, I'll drop the color code. I will drop the color code in the comments, in the description section after this class. Okay, somebody said, so insightful. Thanks. Okay, Yusuf, thanks for the comments. Mr. Maker, thanks for the appreciation. Somebody said, please, I need the original data to practice with. The original data, check the first video. Like we said, this series number 3. Please, if today is your first time, that is you're coming to class number 3, check class number 1, class number 2 to get updates of how we got here. Okay, can you repeat the process of combining the two data to produce one chart? Okay, that's a beautiful thing. This class is the video is recorded and is live, and you can go back and watch it again. Please, Timothy, I will request, I'm pleading, just watch again and you see the steps of how to do that. Okay, thank you so much for putting together. Samuel said, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. Thank you. And then, sir, do you have, somebody said, sir, do you have comprehensive courses like what you're doing at EOS? Okay, so most of us are not aware. I have 2 courses already on seller that they are on sale. You can buy the courses. It was not part of my plan to bring that up, but since you've mentioned it, I have 2 courses on seller. I'll just share the links with us. It's one of the ways for you to join my community. So this is the first one. It's a full data analytics course. I'm sharing it now, and please note you're not under any obligation to buy the course. It's just me, just based on the fact that somebody asked. So that's the link to the first course. It's a beginner course. You can get that particular course. Then the second one, which is the advanced course, is this other one. The advanced course, I still have some videos to complete, but is on sale already. Okay, so we have to just end the class here for today because we have a time limit of 1 hour. But I normally say at the end of the class, there are different ways you can encourage me at this stage, and one of the ways you can do that is for you to please always invite people to join our class. Remember to share. If the class was interesting, you talk about it on your different social platform, and then you share insight, you share dashboard, you share screenshots, you invite others. That's one. Excuse me. But this is the most important thing. Now, I told people in my class today that in tech, in data analytics, application is higher than learning. Everything we did in class today will mean nothing if you don't practice. You may agree, you may not agree, but I'm not saying this based on your agreement. I'm saying it because it works. So this is what I want you to do. And first, congrats and appreciation and thank you to those that sent their works on LinkedIn. I see a lot of persons did the assignment and submitted their work on LinkedIn. So I want to encourage you, what we have learned today, take it and practice it, build it. In tech, you don't just sit down and watch or listen to a lecturer or watch a video. Tech does not happen that way. You will not learn one. I'm telling you the truth. If you like, attend this class every day on data and no, you will not get anything as long as you don't practice. So my plea with us is everybody practice. Take the video where we stopped, practice. Share, comment. If you have not liked, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly do so. Once again, thank you very much. And let me quickly take any closing question. Let's see. Can I get a data set? I've talked about the data set that yes will make it available. Okay, yes. And somebody said there's a Chrome extension that you can use to get colors. Yes, I know of that one. So you can use that. Also share your WhatsApp status. Yes, thank you very much. So I think that should be all for today. Now, for those that are interested in the course, this is the link to the advanced course on Seller. You can follow this link to buy the course. Then this is the link to the beginner's course also on Seller. Thank you very much and have a fine week. See you again next Sunday. Remember, we'll continue from here. This is where we stop. You can't get to this point and then stop the class. No. So you must continue the class to the end. And please remember to invite your friends. Do you get? Invite others. Let them also learn with you. This is where we are. This is where we're going to. Such that when we click this button, you get to take it on. You can see that when I click that button, it takes me to a different interface. Are we together? So this is what we are building. We need to build this together. That if you're in the dashboard, this is the main dashboard. When you click, it takes you to the summary dashboard. All this, we'll learn how to do it next week. Thank you very much and see you on Sunday. Have a fine week. Love you.